What would happen if a girl, presumed dead, resurfaced at her own wake? This question echoes in everyone's mind when Lily Anderson, a 12-year-old girl, is presumed dead after a tragic car accident. Mourning takes over the small community and, especially, the Anderson family, who find themselves plunged into unbearable pain. Anna, Lily's mother, tries to find the strength to deal with the loss, but her heart is heavy with secrets that could explain the unexplainable. On the day of the wake, in an atmosphere thick with sadness, something surprising happens. Lily rises from her coffin, shocking everyone present and defying logic. Lily's resurrection causes a rift among the town's residents. While some see this as a miracle, others doubt the veracity of what happened. Pastor Blake, a respected figure, firmly believes that the girl is a divine sign, but Samuel, the father, finds himself tormented by doubts and begins to investigate what really happened to his daughter. However, Lily herself has no memory of the accident, which intensifies the worry and mystery surrounding her return. As the story progresses, secrets from Anna's past begin to surface. Flashbacks reveal his involvement in a shadowy cult, which may be linked to what happened to Lily. Unrest grows when Lily begins exhibiting strange behaviors, attracting the attention of Dr. Evelyn Harper, the doctor who declared her dead. She feels guilty and decides to investigate, discovering medical records that don't add up, as well as reports of supernatural events in the city. Lily's relationship with a nearby forest deepens, and Anna discovers a hidden altar used for rituals that can have unimaginable consequences. The conflict intensifies when Samuel finds himself pressured to defend the idea of a miracle while struggling to understand his daughter's new reality. A church ceremony hosted by Blake generates tension as Lily begins to act strangely, revealing disturbing truths about the service. At the story's climax, the truth is finally exposed. Lily is not just a resurrected, but the reincarnation of an entity imprisoned in the cult, bringing a dark fate to the community. Anna, desperate, confronts her past, making a final sacrifice to save her daughter and the city. The story ends with a traumatized but united community, while the woods hold secrets that may never be revealed. Lily Anderson's resurrection was not just an extraordinary event. It was the beginning of a series of challenges that would test the emotional and physical strength of everyone involved. As the town split between believers and skeptics, Lily's mother Anna found herself caught in a whirlwind of feelings. The love for his daughter was intertwined with a deep guilt, linked to his darkly hidden past. The cult she had walked away from now seemed to be back, more present than ever, and her connection to her daughter forced her to confront its ghosts. Meanwhile, Samuel, the father, struggled to understand Lily's new reality. He tried to be the family's anchor, but the pressure grew. He felt torn between the faith that had once guided his life and the reason that now led him to question everything. With each passing day, he wondered more if, in fact, the daughter who had resurfaced was the same as before. With every strange behavior Lily exhibited, distrust grew in her heart. Samuel felt compelled to investigate, even if it meant delving into his wife's dark past. The tension increased as Lily became more involved with the woods, where she had found an inexplicable refuge. She seemed drawn to something Samuel couldn't see, and that made him uneasy. With each visit to the woods, Lily returned with stories that seemed beyond comprehension. She spoke of whispering voices and shadows that danced among the trees. For Samuel, these were no longer children's stories. They were signs that something was very wrong. Dr. Evelyn Harper also became a central figure in the narrative. Her guilt over declaring Lily dead consumed her. Determined to uncover the truth, she began investigating the girl's medical records, realizing there was something peculiar about the documents. The notes from the day of the autopsy were incomplete, and his scientific mind rebelled against the idea that a miracle could have happened. Evelyn felt compelled to uncover the mysteries surrounding the resurrection, but with each discovery, her own sanity seemed to crumble. The cult that Anna had been a part of before meeting Samuel was not just a part of the past. Its roots were rooted in the city. Some members of the cult who had moved away began to gather again, attracted by Lily's presence. They believed that the girl was the key to a new rebirth, and this created a deep fear in Anna. With each attempt to protect her daughter, she found herself closer to what she had tried to leave behind. The climax of the conflict intensified at the ceremony organized by Pastor Blake. He saw Lily as a symbol of hope and a miracle, but his unshakable faith became a double-edged sword. As the community gathered, Anna noticed the atmosphere was filled with a strange expectation. Lily, in her innocence, seemed willing to please those who saw her as a savior, but this led her down a dangerous path. During the ceremony, when Lily began speaking in voices that weren't her own, the crowd fell silent. What was supposed to be a moment of celebration quickly turned into a terrifying spectacle. Lily's revelations about the cult's rituals and the city's darkest secrets left everyone in shock. Anna, hearing her daughter speak, felt paralyzed, caught between the need to protect Lily and the urgency to stop what was happening. The tension came to a head when Samuel, overcome by doubt and fear, decided to confront Anna. The confrontation between them was explosive. He accused her of bringing back something evil, while Anna begged him to believe Lily. This division in the family brought old wounds to the surface, and Samuel found himself questioning his own sanity. What was supposed to be a family union became an emotional battlefield, where every word was a sharp knife. Meanwhile, the relationship between Lily and Dr. Evelyn became increasingly complex. Evelyn, who previously saw Lily as a patient, now saw her as an enigma that needed to be solved. The connection that formed between them was delicate, but the truths that needed to be revealed could destroy this friendship. Evelyn found herself torn between her role as a doctor and the need to protect Lily from a dark fate. The twists and turns intensified when Anna, in a moment of desperation and determination, decided that she would need to confront the cult once again. She knew that only facing her past could she free Lily from the grip of something the city couldn't understand. Their journey was just beginning, and each step they took them deeper into a mystery that challenged not only their lives, but the very essence of their community. As the story unfolds, unspoken truths, questionable loyalties, and deepest fears intertwine, creating a plot rich in emotions and challenges. The fate of Lily, Anna, and the entire city was at stake, and the fight between light and dark had just begun. As the ceremony unfolded, a wave of tension swept through the crowd. The faces, a mixture of amazement and reverence, reflected the internal battle each one was waging. What should have been a moment of hope turned into a spectacle of disturbing revelations. Lily's words echoed like thunder, and the atmosphere became oppressive. Anna, paralyzed by fear, felt her heart race as she heard her daughter talk about the cult's dark rituals, revealing secrets that should have remained buried. When Lily finished, a dead silence took over the room. The murmurs began to spread, turning into heated conversations. Samuel, distressed, looked at Anna, searching for answers in her eyes. He felt like the ground beneath his feet was crumbling. The daughter he knew was disappearing, giving way to a version of her he barely recognized. What was real? What was the product of a disturbed mind? Doubt ran like poison through his veins. It was then that a man, a former member of the cult, raised his voice. His words were like burning coals, igniting the crowd. He proclaimed that Lily was a Messiah, chosen to lead the faithful into a new rebirth. The fervor in his voice resonated among those present, and a wave of religious fervor took over the ceremony. Anna found herself surrounded by faces that looked at her with an adoration that terrified her. How could her daughter be the center of something so dangerous? Deep down, Anna struggled with the conviction that she had lost control of her own life. The past he had tried to leave behind was back, and the idea that Lily might be in danger intensified with every second. The emotional pressure became unbearable. When the crowd began to sing, Anna felt a deep despair. It was as if the voices turned into a song of lament, calling her back to a place she never wished to revisit. Meanwhile, Samuel, overcome by a protective impulse, decided to act. He walked through the crowd, his heart pounding. What he was about to do could change everything. He could not let the blind faith and fervor of the mob control his family. With a firm voice, Samuel called out to Lily, calling her back to reality. The crowd hesitated, and the sound of the song gradually died away, all eyes now focused on him. Lily, with a distant look, looked confused. She didn't know whether to follow the path the crowd was taking or turn to the Father who loved her. It was a moment of choice, and deep down she felt the pressure of all the expectations. Samuel approached, his heart sinking, and when their eyes met, he saw a mixture of innocence and something deeper, something he couldn't understand. "You don't need this, Lily," he said, his voice shaky but full of love. "Come back to us, to our family." Samuel's words resonated within her, and for a brief moment, a light of clarity shone in her eyes. But the crowd pressed on, and the connection between father and daughter seemed to disappear like smoke. The cult was growing in fervor, and Anna, seeing her daughter's internal struggle, felt she needed to act. With renewed courage, she stepped forward and placed herself between Samuel and the crowd. "Lily, listen to your mother," Anna pleaded, her voice thick with emotion. "You don't have to be what they want you to be. You are loved just the way you are." The clash of emotions was palpable, and the crowd began to stir. The connection between mother and daughter became a lighthouse in the midst of the storm. But the cost of challenging collective belief was high. Anna realized that by confronting the cult, she was not only challenging her beliefs, but also risking her family's safety. As the tension in the air intensified, Lily, in a moment of clarity, looked at her mother and father. The weight of expectations and the pressure of worship began to lift. She realized that regardless of what had happened, she needed to choose her own truth. However, this choice would not be easy. The real challenge was just beginning, and the fight for the family's identity and soul was about to intensify, forcing everyone to confront their deepest fears and unspoken truths. What would it take for each of them to find the strength to move forward? The answer could change not only Lily's fate, but also the very essence of the community that surrounded them. The tension in the ceremony was palpable, but at that critical moment, Lily felt a shift within herself. The pressure of the voices around him, the expectations of the cult, and the love of his parents intertwined in his mind. She was on the verge of a choice that could change everything. As he looked at Samuel and Anna, he realized that although the cult offered a sense of purpose, their true strength lay in their family. It was at that moment that Lily recognized her own limitations. For so long, she had let herself be led by the beliefs of others, believing that she needed to be a leader, a messiah to be valued. But as she listened to her father's words and her mother's desperate plea, she began to understand that her worth did not depend on following a path imposed by others. It was time to confront her own fear and insecurity. As the crowd stirred, an inner voice made itself heard. The courage she so desired didn't come from being perfect, but from accepting who she really was. With a new understanding, she took a deep breath and took a step forward, moving away from the cult's influence and closer to her parents. The choice to free herself from that external pressure was the first step towards her transformation. Anna, noticing the change in her daughter's expression, felt a surge of hope. She had faced her own demons when walking away from the cult in the past, and now she saw that Lily was also on her way to overcoming it. Together, mother and daughter represented the strength of a love that surpassed any blind belief. It was a powerful lesson. True strength lies not in conformity, but in authenticity. With the support of her mother and father, Lily began to rebuild her life. The path would not be easy, but she was determined. As she dealt with the fear of rejection and the pressure to fit in, she learned that failing didn't mean failure. Each mistake was an opportunity for growth, an invitation to pick yourself up and try again. With each step he took away from the cult, his confidence grew. Samuel, in turn, also began to reflect on his own failures. He realized that although he had tried to protect his family, he often pushed aside his own emotions. By opening up to Anna and Lily, he strengthened family ties and found new purpose in their union. The friendship and love between them became a safe haven in the midst of the storm. At the end of the ceremony, as the crowd dispersed, Lily, Anna, and Samuel hugged. They knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face it together. Each had learned a valuable lesson. True wealth was not in following fads or cults, but in knowing one another, supporting one another, and celebrating individuality. The journey of overcoming was just beginning, but together they were stronger than any challenge that could arise. Lily was at the center of the ceremony, surrounded by familiar faces, but the pressure she felt was unbearable. The cult demanded her total devotion, but instead something inside her stirred. When he looked at Samuel and Anna, the truth came to him. His family's genuine love was what really mattered. The voice of the cult leader rang in his ears, asking him to surrender, to become the figure everyone expected. But at that moment, Lily decided that she couldn't live like this anymore. The tension grew. Her father's gaze was filled with concern, while her mother, with tears in her eyes, silently begged her to choose freedom. Lily felt her heart speed up. She was about to make the most important decision of her life. The fear of disappointing the crowd was overwhelming, but the thought of disappointing his parents seemed even more painful. With every beat of her heart, she reflected on everything she had learned. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it. She took a deep breath, looking at the crowd, and in a moment of clarity she shouted, "I'm not what you want me to be! I'm Lily, and I choose my own life!" The words echoed like thunder. The crowd fell silent, and his father's expression lit up with pride. Anna, with a smile between tears, ran to hug her daughter. Lily's choice not only freed her, but also brought the family together for a new beginning. At that moment, she realized that she didn't need external approval. Her inner strength was all she needed to move forward. The journey of self-discovery was just beginning, but with the unconditional support of her parents, she was ready to face any challenge that came her way. Lily felt a rush of relief as she realized that her choice had not only freed her, but also brought her family closer. With the unconditional support of her parents, she finally understood that true success was not in pleasing others, but in being true to herself. Every step he took toward his new life was a step towards self-discovery and happiness. The fear that once paralyzed her now turned into courage. Lily's journey was far from easy, but she knew that, alongside her family, she could face any challenge. Deep in her heart, she understood that true strength comes from within and that freedom is a choice that everyone deserves. As she looks ahead, Lily is committed to living fully, inspiring others to do the same. If you've also faced difficult choices or freed yourself from something that held you back, share your story in the comments. Your experience may inspire someone to find their own courage. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that touch the heart and motivate change. The time to act is now. The time to